I wanted to talk about your work, your body of work, your coaching business, your spiritual ministry, your book series, or if you haven't done those things yet, your vision for those things, and how good they already are, or how good your ideas, concepts, and thoughts about them already are, and what you're not seeing in order to take your own devotional impact in these realms to its organic, natural, gorgeous next level. A lot of you are teachers, spiritual teachers, coaches, psychotherapists, authors, or you have an idea that you might want to head in that direction. And when things don't work out for you, when things are like, your coaching business isn't booked out, or the book isn't getting written, or you're just beginning and you think that you need more clarity, you have a tendency to run into one of three directions. Direction one being, I need more trauma work. I need to go back and heal more, or more shadow work, or to work through the limiting beliefs. Direction two being, I need to cold DM everybody in creation, whether that's everybody who ever liked your post or everybody who ever opted in for a freebie. Or direction three being, I just need more clarity. And then you do like a million exercises for your client avatar or your niche. And I want to suggest that creating the devotional impact that you desire, and when I say devotional impact, I don't just mean any impact. I don't just mean like, I had a business and I made money and I served all these clients. I mean, where you're pouring the essence of who you truly are into this work, and you want it to make a massive difference for the generations that come after, where it's coming from your heart, your soul, your essence, your own spiritual lineage. That is devotional impact. I'm going to suggest that perhaps it's none of these things that are going to truly move the needle, and that something else is required instead. Before I go there, I'll add, if you're watching this, this is for those of you who have been on your own spiritual journey for years, if not decades, who have done the spiritual work, who have done a good deal of the psychological work. And you know that you are here to collapse timelines and move mountains, both in your own spiritual authority, how you shift your identity and continue to know yourself as a priestess, teacher, oracle, or queen, as well as the impact that you make on the collective. That's who this is for. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to what you're not seeing in this equation. And it's not clarity. It's probably not more trauma work. Trauma healing matters. It's probably just not this creating the situation. And it's certainly not inboxing everybody who's ever expressed an interest in your big toe. It's about zooming out and looking at the big picture of your life and your journey, and then transforming it or alchemizing it into something that's so much more. So you've had your own spiritual journey. You've been through initiations. You've had your own psychological process. You've had trainings, certifications, perhaps graduate school, perhaps not, tons and tons and tons of education, coach trainings, yoga teacher trainings, or oracular initiations, whatever they are. You've served, helped, impacted many others, coaches. Sorry, I meant to say clients, students, your family, your friends, maybe even your own mentors. And all of that has already had an impact. All of that is a foundation for your body of work. So you're not going to need to sit there and say, I have a client avatar, I need clarity, am I a coach, am I a healer, do I work with Barbara in the suburbs? No, you're zooming way out and looking at everything that you've accomplished already every education, every training, every healing, every spiritual path, every psychological path, every result you've helped anyone get, whether that's a client or a friend. And weaving that together into a giant vessel known as your body of work, where you are indeed capable of then taking that and bringing that to the playing field, whether that's, on Facebook or through ads or through conversations or through funnels, into your own impact. It's not about drilling down and clarifying a niche. It's not about inboxing people. It's not about 18 decades of healing. It's about zooming way out. And I'm going to give you an example of this in a moment, because I know you could be like, okay, I hear you, but where the fuck does this go? And I'm going to pause because I do have notes here. Okay. So here's an example for me, and I'm going to give you mine. My overhead banner, my journey has included my own dark night of the soul. My journey has included multiple spiritual initiations. My journey has included a master's in psychology. My journey has included being a psychotherapist, a priestess, a yoga teacher, a yoga student. My journey has included having a psychotherapy practice, a yoga teacher practice, and a spiritual teacher / coaching practice. My umbrella is not saying I'm a therapist or I'm a coach or any of that. My umbrella is impact, leadership, and power. Spiritual initiation on the left-hand path for you to change your identity. Now, when you, in my body of work, change your identity, you can go out and write that book series. Not because I told you how, but because who you are shifted. When you change your identity, you can shift into more erotic expression, more vitality, more aliveness. When you change your identity, you see all the places in your life where you're not grabbing your power and you go out and claim it. A subset of my work underneath that tagline, underneath the header, underneath the top level is also very much about you working with taboo, especially repressed sexuality, especially as it comes from poor mothering and the mother wound. Why? Because when you're cut off from your sexuality, your impact lessens. When you're cut off from your sexuality, your visibility lessens. When you're cut off from your sexuality, your self-expression lessens and you're not seen. I think you're getting the gist here. This is the same thing for you to flip around and apply to yourself. It's not just me. This is about you. Okay, so you're not looking at what you're doing as a cohesive whole. You're not seeing it as a body of work. And that's where the shift, that's where the change begins. If you start to address this, if you begin to work on this, if you begin to address this, you're less likely, okay, if you begin to address this, you don't need to go around fixing wounds around business and money. If you begin to address this, it's not that you don't need more trauma work. Sometimes we all do. It's that that's not just the only thing. If you begin to address this, you can stop playing the game of, oh, I have to seek clarity, or, sending out 18 DMs a day because some cold coach somewhere told you to inbox anyone who ever showed interest. If you skip this, if you're like, oh, I don't need this, I'll just keep finding clarity. I'll just keep looking for clarity. I'll just do my trauma work and trust. I'll just work on my money blocks, whatever. If you skip this, you run the risk of losing years of time on the impact that you could create. If you don't sort out this piece, there's a good chance you're going to lose years or decades of time actually making the fucking impact. And that's painful for you, right? Because it's like cutting off a piece of yourself. But it's also painful for the collective. If you're watching this and interested in one-to-one, reach out. That's always open. You know where I'll be.